Okay, another video. It's been a while since I've made any videos regarding my situation and the global cult, the order of the perfect, and how things are getting along. So I just wanted to start out by talking about where I'm at today. Now, the gang stalkers and I have both agreed that they have a personality disorder known as ASPD, ASPD, antisocial personality disorder. If you Google it, basically it's a deeply ingrained intent to perpetrate criminal acts, which include murder, all the big criminal acts. And I've been doing a lot of research and reading and watching YouTube videos on ASPD. And I guess most mental health professionals don't like interacting with people with ASPD. I guess the only time really people with ASPD are even tried to help is in a criminal institution like a jail or a prison. And then people with ASPD supposedly um, they the health professionals try to help those people but to me, I just want to talk about, like, even though no one's allowed to believe any of this, I get that. That's the way the technology works, is that it controls people to not be able to believe the truth. That's part of the criminality that an ASPD act that was enforced upon the earth. I am guessing around 100 years ago. Um, but right now, since I'm on my own. No authorities listened. Um, Nobody helped me or anything like that. I'm on my own, but I have to admit, I would have volunteered to be in this situation. It's a great opportunity to help these people with ASPD because to me, it's like a good Samaritan act. Um, when you identify somebody in a state of poor health, like an injury or an ailment or something, a disorder, those types of things. A good Samaritan will always seek to help them, regardless of if they kill me because they have ASPD or cause me severe injury or cause me severe pain and suffering. I would still want to help them. Now, there's not really a whole lot of information about helping people with ASPD on the internet. I just looked at it like, where does it come from? It comes from the people that are supposed to love you most mistreat you and teach you how to do mean and criminal things to other people. It's a family of cruelty, of emptiness inside, all those things, where a lot of people, it doesn't lead me anywhere. Um, but yeah, so it's ASPD is the biggest issue on earth. Helping people with ASPD, even if they kill you, even if they harmed your loved ones, and helping people with ASPD, I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. Helping to help somebody with ASPD, you literally have to be able to sacrifice everything. And so I wouldn't recommend it for a large population of people. But what could you be doing to help? Just staying positive and healthy, staying psychologically healthy in your mind, and being a positive, happy person towards everyone you meet. Even if you meet somebody who might be a little nasty towards you, just try to stay positive and healthy and interact with them in a healthy way that might help them out of their nastiness. It's kind of like when now people are far more complex. Well, I wouldn't say far more, but a lot more complex than animals. Like, but let's say a dog. Okay, so a dog is a dog. It's born in the world and it starts to experience things in life. Now, if the dog experiences a bunch of cruelty as a puppy growing up into adulthood or into maturity, then that dog's going to be an angry dog that barks at people and tries to bite them and that kind of thing. And it's angry and it's pissed off and it just wants to bite you and bark at you and be angry. It's the same thing with ASPD in a way. Now, people are far more complex to where they can keep an outward expression of nonviolence, but internally be intending to perpetrate violence. One second. I'll be okay. Um, what was I saying? Oh, so the only way to assist somebody who believes that the world is a cruel, mean place to exist is by continuing to prove to them, regardless of what they do to you, that it isn't. Okay, hold on. Um, but that doesn't mean being a pushover to somebody with ASPD. Basically, uh, there's there's healthy confrontation and healthy non-confrontation. A healthy confrontation is when you stand up to somebody with ASPD. I don't care if you kill me, but you have ASPD, and that's the reason why this is the case. Is due to your ASPD. It's not you. It's not me. It's called ASPD, and you have to remember that the reason why I want to help these people with ASPD to recover from ASPD, and to me, it's a multi generational recovery process where it takes many lifetimes to recover from ASPD. But I was saying, oh, the reason why I want to help these people is because I looked at the nature of ASPD and where it comes from, and there's like three reasons. One reason, okay, they didn't choose to be born. No one ever chooses to be born into the world. Um, so that right there, it's not your choice to be alive. You have to do it until you were dead. Um, Second reason, to me, ASPD occurs randomly in nature. Um, it's not like somebody was like, "Oh, geez, today I want to have a disorder affect me called ASPD." Nobody ever says that. Nobody ever wants it to happen to them. It happens out of social. Um, it has social elements as well as genetic and environment. All elements of ASPD. These people are ruthless. They almost murder me. Um, with ASPD, they were 18 years ago. Hold on. 18 years ago, basically, they were out of control. Um, if you've ever been gang stalked, you would know what I'm talking about. Very immature is the word. Very immature psychologically, um, as well as violent and aggressive. So, immature, violent, and aggressive be the three main words I would use to describe these people 18 years ago. But now it's been 18 years of me lecturing and educating them um, on a better life. They have stopped. Well, it's been kind of a slow transition into a healthier state of being. Now they're still mass murdering. War is mass murder since And here's the reason war is mass murder. Since the whole world is controlled by one entity, the order of the perfect is in charge of the entire world, there are no sides. There's only one side, and it's really a form of mass murder due to ASPD that these people have, that they're engaging in the wars today. Peace on earth is not yet, but um, in my private world, I would create the highest ranking peaceful, nonviolent military organization upon the earth. And somebody might say, how could you be nonviolent and be military? Well, to me, everything is military. It's like during peacetime, that's a military act. If you're acting peacefully, you're acting in a military manner. And if you're acting out violently, you're acting in a military manner, because everything is military. Um, the main point being, what's the most important thing to you? Well, if you were to ask me what should be the most important thing to a person, it shouldn't be, well, never mind that, but it should be having a child and surviving. I mean, to me, that's like the whole point. Like, what are you trying to do, whether you're rich or you're poor, or you're ugly or you're fat or you're attractive or you're any, what are you trying to do in the world while you're alive? To me, I believe the number one most important thing to the human being in a natural state of mind, healthy and natural state of mind, is having a child to continue to survive. None of that other stuff matters as long as you survive. Um, and even though everyone is covertly controlled, what I call biological roboticism, by supercomputer AI radio frequencies that interact with your brain frequencies and control your mind. So you're not allowed to believe me because your mind's being controlled that way. Um, but even though that did happen, I placed that on a previous generation of people who also had ASPD. And the thing about ASPD is, regardless of um, how violent and mean and suppressive and angry somebody with ASPD might be, like insulting or just, comments like puppet and homosexual. Although I don't really see being called homosexual as a negative comment, but to these people with ASPD, they do. Not that I'm gay, I'm just saying. The people with ASPD definitely view homosexuality, although if you ask me, they're like secret homosexuals or something like that. Somehow it works out that way. Like the person that's expressively angry for some reason, it's like, why are you having to come across as though you're so anti-homosexual? And it's just kind of like, well, I could take a few guesses and figure it out, which is fine. They have ASPD, and that's the main thing. ASPD is deeply ingrained intent to commit criminal acts. People in I think I've already said all this, so I'm rehashing some of the information, but most health professionals don't like helping people with ASPD. Now, I'm not a health professional. I'm privately trained and operating psychological combat medic. I don't believe in violence, only believe in positive psychological health, and living out positive psychosocial realities. Or not positive. I replaced positive and negative with healthy and unhealthy. It's about living health. Like, that's another thing for me personally. I am not religious. I don't believe in a little red skinned man with a pointy tail and horns and a goatee that lives near the center of the earth. I don't believe that nonsense. I don't believe in a man in a white robe somewhere in the clouds whose son flew up into the clouds with him to and will someday return. I'm sorry, but I'm fairly practical. I don't believe anything like that. Um, I don't believe any of that kind of stuff. My religion is psychological health. Psychological health. I may even go back to college to study psychological health because my religion is based upon attaining the highest level of psychological health possible. I've made up acronyms, um, some acronyms regarding psychological health and that kind of thing, but helping people with ASPD, and they say that, I mean, I just have to go off of where they were 18 years ago towards me and where they are today. And I would place a large value of dollars on that, on the difference they've made. They've the difference that they've experienced over 18 years with these gang stalkers stalking me. It's like I would volunteer to get stalked, just to try to help that person with their psychology. Um, I'm not afraid. If they kill me, so what? You know, I like people. Well, I wouldn't say. I mean, I like people with ASPD, except for the ASPD. But here's the thing about it: it's so overwhelming. It's an overwhelming part of the individual's personality that if I didn't know they had, let me put it this way: if I met someone and they acted like that towards me, and I didn't know they had ASPD, I wouldn't like them. I'd ask them to please leave me alone. But if I knew that they had ASPD, I can go as far as to say as I like people with ASPD. Even though except for the ASPD part, it's like the part that they really are, because these gang stalkers have shown flashes of humor. They've made positive remarks about my life, or a positive remark that I can remember. I don't remember what was said now. Positive remark about my life. A lot of humor, a lot of funniness. I don't, but sometimes I think the people with ASPD are trying to be serious. It's just that they have ASPD, and so the way they come across is so comical to me that I start laughing. Um, More about people with ASPD, they care very little about the other person's rights and feelings. Um, I think that's one of the main things. Like, would I say who would have ASPD? That's a good example. Both leaders of the leader of Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, definitely has ASPD. If you can care that little about somebody else's life just because somebody associated with them by through religion, or as the leading regime of a nearby nation, that you then bomb tens of thousands of people to their deaths, that's an example of ASPD. That's like mass murder. Um, Same thing with Putin. If he's just going to go in and he doesn't care about his own soldiers' lives and he doesn't care about the Ukrainian people's lives and he just wants to gain land or something like that, I guess is what they're trying to get out of it now. Like, as long as the land that we've annexed remains our property or something, we'll call it quits or something like that. Um, it's another example of someone with ASPD. I think it's like Despot or Despo or something. I don't know how you pronounce it. But most of those people have ASPD. They don't care about the well being of the people around them. And if they cause them harm, pain, and suffering, they don't feel bad about it. It's not like, oh, I'm sorry. You're walking down the street and you bump into somebody. And they're like, good, I guess. Something like that, where most people, oh, excuse me, or something along those lines. But these people like trying to bump you off the sidewalk into the street so you get run over by a car and stuff like that. Um, that's just an example of people with ASPD. The whole world needs to come together on ASPD. It's like, how do you help people with ASPD? Well, you have to stand up for yourself is first and foremost. Like, I totally, anytime you disagree, you have to let them know. It takes a lot of verbalizations about what those people are doing. But once you finally realize that it's due to a mental health concern, then it's like, well, then that's not really fair to you, and it's not your fault. Because let's look at the background of ASPD. It occurs to a child. Usually the parent has ASPD, which means the parent had ASPD. Occurs to a child at birth, um, through a young age into adulthood. The entire time they are mistreated with cruelty and taught that mistreatment of others is an acceptable practice. Um, that's people with ASP. So basically, I think I said it already, but to help people with ASPD, healthy confrontation. Anytime it's like, no, you're wrong, tell those people, tell them, be very confrontational when it comes to like, oh, do you want to, the guy told me I should kill myself. I would say he had ASPD. I don't think he would have cared if I killed myself or not. I don't know if it was ASPD with that guy though. He was a little bonkers. But the whole point is that I'm like, no, I should not do that, and I'm not saying it all meaningfully because I need to convince myself of that. I'm just like, nah. Don't need to kill myself, and stand up for yourself and confront the person that's telling you. I mean, I shut him down right away. Not because it was hurting me or anything. It was just making my page look bad. And I'm like, I want my page to look good. I don't really get, you have to take my word for it because I have comments. I'm like the Chinese. I whatever it's called where you filter the comments. I filter everyone's comments on my page. But when I made this website the first time, I would get a lot of like LOL, is that a bong, all that kind of thing. I don't really know what that was about, but I think that was more about these people and their intentional control of others to interact with me in a harmful and unhealthy manner. So now, I mean, I got one comment that was kind of, but I got rid of that one. But it's just like sometimes people say LOL and that kind of thing, but they just don't understand. They don't get that we are living under a global technological monarchy who uses technological weapons as a means of controlling the masses. Really doesn't mean a whole lot for me. My life hasn't changed much, you know. But oh yeah, it's a good Samaritan. But it takes a special type of person, if you ask me. It takes a special type of person to stand up to people with ASPD because most people will become scared, subservient, or simply not seek to, or simply not even try, because you would think people with ASPD are so far gone, that kind of thing. But no, I found that 18 years of interaction, healthy confrontation, healthy non-confrontation, interacting in a healthy way with these people that they've made. It's like pushing a rock up a mountainside, but they've pushed it at least a foot or two. Let me put it that way. They're starting to come out of ASPD now. These wars, they may cease these wars and start new ones. They may do World War III as a proof of how much ASPD they have to me or something like that. I wouldn't say I'm really that important of a person to them. I'm just What was I saying? A privately trained and operating psychological combat medic. I deal in helping people with ASPD recover from ASPD. It is purely a military activity. There is no laws or rules regarding the things I think, say, and do to these people. I don't really see why it matters. I'm not breaking any laws, helping uh, people with ASPD. But, it's like once you understand as a targeted individual, because that's where this all came from for me, but as a targeted individual, it didn't all really make sense to me until I understood that they have ASPD and where ASPD comes from. It's like they they didn't have a choice of being born and then being raised up to have ASPD. So I can't hold that against them. Secondly, it occurs randomly in nature. It's like I'm walking down the street and then I slowly but surely become somebody with ASPD, and I didn't choose that for myself, and I wouldn't choose that for myself. Well, that's how ASPD happens. So, I mean, if it sneaks up on you and becomes who you are before you can even ever realize that it's affecting you, how could you hold that against that person? Like, even if they're a mass murderer now, you can't blame them, even if they kill your loved one. You can't blame them for having ASPD. That's why a lot of health professionals don't even try. But um, the work I'm doing is basically to help them, and it's through interaction, it's through personality creation, it's through. Uh, I thought the door was opening. Um, it's through interaction. It's like when you interact with somebody, there's things about that person that you might personally like, or they might say something like bro, and you're like, hey, I like that word bro. And so then you use that word. When you interact with people, you pick up aspects of their personality, and it's what makes up your total personality in the end. It's like minds think alike. And so you can't blame somebody with ASPD, even if they kill you or torture you or any of those types of things, because you have to understand where ASPD comes from. It comes from when the child is born on Earth. You don't have a choice of being born. And then is like, has all their toes broken every day of their life, or punched in the face till they start crying. And then nobody comes to make them feel better. And then they just wait till they stop crying and then punch them in the face some more. When those things happen to children and then they grow up in the world with ASPD, it's not their fault that happened to them in infancy, in childhood, as an adolescence, as they become an adult. So then once they're an adult, if they're a mass murdering psychopath, you can't hold that against them. A lot of people would say that person deserves, they murdered 3 people in a gruesome manner, that they deserve the death penalty. I would totally disagree with that. I know for a fact that there is a way, if enough time and effort is made, to get through to that person, that the world is not as bad and cruel and negative as they believe it is in their own mind. So, a lot of people would say that somebody with ASPD, there's no helping them and they deserve the death penalty. But that's what makes it well, I've read that people with ASPD, as they grow older, slowly recover. And if you ask me, the reasons for that is because they interact with healthy people most of the time who rub off on them, and uh, injuries heal naturally over time. Those two reasons, I would say, is why people who are older with ASPD get better a little bit from it. Um, but like I was saying, oh, they like that part. Okay. I'll say that again then. Like I was saying, even if I believe that with enough time and effort and belief that that being a healthy combat medic to heal their mind simply through the interaction and good natured, uh, healthy, simply through healthy interactions. It takes many, 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 many healthy interactions to heal someone with ASPD. And because they've experienced so much violence and suffering in their life, um, they may never be fully healed, but they will be healed more so that then there's a chance that their child may not have ASPD. And then as they continue to heal, then the next child most likely won't have ASPD, and then healing and healing and healing. So and then finally they are healed of ASPD. Multi-generational, severe antisocial personality disorder is one of the most severe. Uh, I mean, it strikes the person. It when somebody with ASPD communicates with you can tell they have ASPD. That's how it is with the antisocial personality disorder. Anyways, I haven't made a video in a while. Wanted to talk about where I'm at today. I'm in I've been in an 18-year ASPD recovery program. To not for me, I don't have ASPD, but I'm a psychological combat medic assisting the Crown secret royalty of the earth in recovering from ASPD. And I'm doing it all by myself. Feel free, though, simply by being a nice person to the next person you meet, even if they give you a dirty look or a cruel or an insult or something, just stay positive, stay healthy, and know that eventually, if enough positivity and good health is exhibited to people with ASPD, they'll recover. And then we're talking about peace on earth, all kinds of magical stuff. Um, if the global royalty, known as the Crown, recovers from ASPD, oh, I would then. I mean, I would go as far as to say that I might have wished I'd have a child, but I'm not going to risk it. I don't want to have a robot to a computer, biological robot to an AI. As that kind of thing is just not my deal. Plus, I'm all old now. I wouldn't make as good of a father. I don't know how many years I have left anyway. But enough about me. That's where I'm at. Again, I am a privately trained and operating psychological combat medic. I am healing the secret royalty of the earth of ASPD. They are still perpetrating mass murder by carrying out their puppet wars, where everybody involved is a puppet. Um, just doesn't puppet to a robot. They're still carrying out their robot wars, where everyone is covertly a robot to a computer, and then both sides attack each other and kill each other, and these people most likely get close-ups of the deaths and stuff like that. So they are still, and they'll either continue because their wars are a big deal to them with ASPD. They'll continue. They'll either continue those wars or end them, start new ones, or start World War III. That is what will happen if what may happen. I'm not sure, but I'm going to continue to interact with these people to help them with their their ASPD. Um, give it a lifetime or two, and you should see magical flowers blooming in the springtime and other magical moments like that. Anyways, I think I'm going to end there. Thanks for watching my video. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them in the comment section below.